Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Want to apologize to each and every one of you out there, man. Last few days we have not been here. Family situation came about, and family over everything. And so, I had to take a few days off to take care of some personal family things that I had going on. Um, and so for that reason we were not here a few days we were not here. So I want to thank you all for your patience and understanding through this whole situation. Like I said, there was some family situations, some family issues that I had to take care of, and came from nowhere, man. Sometimes when things happen, it just kind of drop in your lap from nowhere, man. And that's exactly what happened. And so had to take care of that, man. So I miss you all, and we're back now. We I didn't even have an opportunity because everything happened Saturday. So I had to drop everything Saturday and go out of state. I had to go out of state and take care of some things out of state. Don't want to get too much into it, but I had to go out of state, and I was there for a few days. Actually, just got back. Got back Tuesday evening. Got back Tuesday evening. So yeah, that's where we were. If you all missed us, I we certainly miss you. Certainly miss each and every one of you. Um, we having some issues, and one of the reasons why I'm late to this morning because I've been sitting here for about an hour, trying to get everything up and running. But we're having some issues with our phone line. So we're gonna go. We're gonna try the old phone line that we had, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Gonna see is that working a little better for us today. Hold on. See is that working a little better for us today, and just to make sure that everything is up and running, and hopefully hopefully, let me see, keep screaming. Okay, good deal. And I want to say hello to a few people. ID 39, good morning. Lehigh, Naki, good morning to you. Jay, good morning to what's that, the Claude, the Claude God. I can't really read it. I apologize. No, no, it's not personal. Sasha, so nice. Good morning to you. And I cannot Escanor. Please charge it to my mind, not my heart. I trying to get it, trying to say what it is, but sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can't read them. Um, I want to talk to you all this morning, and and try this phone number, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Hopefully at the end of this broadcast I'm gonna get back in contact with my other carrier, and hopefully I'll be able to get my old number back up because I like that one a lot as well. But we have some issues with it right now. So 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. I want to ask you a question, man. What is going on in today's time? What is going on in today's time, man? There's another shooting at school. There's another shooting at school, man, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why are we having so many of these school shootings, man? Why are the young people going to school? And they say that this young fella, African American little boy, I hadn't seen his picture yet, but I've had to talk about it. Cause like I said, I've been traveling a little bit, so I didn't get a chance to buckle in and to lock into this thing. But I want you all to tell me. Give me a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give me a call and tell me, what do you think is really going on? What is behind all of these shootings that we're having? These school shootings, man. These young kids are going to school and shooting up the school buildings, man. What is really going on? Is that just a sign of the time? Is it bullying? I mean, what is I'm having a hard time. Pastor, what's that? Pishaco. I hope I said that name. Good morning to you, Francisco. Good morning to you as well. C3 Poe. I I'm butchering it. I know I'm butchering it. You're laughing at me right now because I didn't get it right, but I'm trying to acknowledge you and say hello to you. But what is going on? Why do we have so many of these school shootings? What is really going on with all these school shootings that we're having? Why? Is there a reason? I mean, it's really crazy. It's crazy to me to have to think that these young people are going into these buildings, these school buildings, where they're supposed to be going to get their education, and they're going in there and they're shooting up the place. What is what? Help me understand it because I'm having the hardest time understanding why. I'm having the hardest time understanding why. And somebody said that because of the fact that they took God out the school systems. Well, that could be it. That could very well be it. That could be a part of it. But it's not just the school building where these shootings are taking place. What about Charleston a few years ago when the guy went into the church? In Charleston, South Carolina, they went in. He went into the church doing Bible study. I think it was a Bible study on a Wednesday. He went into the church and sit throughout the service. Sit right there throughout the service. And at the end of the service, he shouted the place, left one person, say, I want you to be able to tell the story. I want you to be able to tell the story. Now, that's to me, that's a sick puppy. That's a sick puppy right there. So why would you go into a church building? All these shootings, man. Columbine 3 years ago. I could go down there, I could go on Google or Bing right now. I use Bing as well, and Bing is a great search engine as well. Bing.com is a great search engine. I use that one from time to time. But I'm gonna tell you, I could go in any one of those search engines, man, and I could put in mass shootings in the last 10 years. And I spend the rest of the broadcast talking to you about each and every one of those mass shootings because there's so much going on. Good morning, Odell. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you, brother. Good morning. If you get the opportunity, give us a call, man. We actually back on the old number, man, because the new number gave us some issues this morning for whatever reason. I'm gonna try to fix that at the end of this broadcast. I'm gonna try to fix it. But if you get an opportunity, give us a call. You remember that old number 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give us a call. Definitely love to hear from each and every one of you. But man, I'm at a loss, man. I'm really at a loss, and I need you all to help me and help me understand why there's so many why there's so many shootings going on by the young people. Why are these young people going in? Why do they think it's okay for them to go and shoot up the place? Okay, that might be, somebody said it's because of these video games that they're playing. Well, that again, that could be the case. It could be because of that. But somebody need to make sure that they know and they understand. They know and they understand that there is no reset button on life. When you're playing those video games, you lose, you get shot up and all these. And I see people playing them all the time. They all over the place. They're playing these games. They're shooting up each other and killing each other and talking about each other. They have little meetings. People could be cross country from each other and playing in a video game where they're shooting up each other. I see it all the time. It happens. I don't play it, but I do see it. But my thing is this right here. My thing is this. They need to know, excuse me, and they need to understand that there is not on this game called life, if you want to call it that, there isn't a reset button. You can't reset, get shot up, shot and killed, die, and then hit that reset button or reset the game and start all over again. It doesn't work that way. Maybe someone in their mind they're thinking that, well, just hit the reset button, they'll come back. No, they won't. It's not. It doesn't work that way. If you shoot somebody in real life outside of the realm of that game that you're playing, if you shoot somebody in real life and you kill them, there is no reset button. You can't just hit a reset button and come back and life all over again as it was. Oh man, let's play again. There is no play again. It's over. Somebody need to make sure that they know and they understand that it is over. They need to know and understand, make sure that it's clear. Because, like I say, in these games they play it, and I see them, they playing it for hours, and I'm just wondering, what does that do to your psyche? Is it just that they think that that's a some form of reality, and they're trying to cross it over? Is that what it is? I mean, y'all need to help me understand this, man, because I'm having the darndest time understanding this thing. Excuse me, I really am. I'm having the hardest time. 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give me a call. Please help me understand it. Because they'll have in Texas. It happened in Texas just yesterday. I'm on my drive on my way to school, and man, on my way home from school, as you were on my way home from school, and I pop on the radio, and they're talking about it. This had to be about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and they're talking about it I listen to a lot of XM radio, and they're talking about this whole situation about this school. I'm trying to pull something up because it's ridiculous to think. It's hard for me to think that these individuals, in whatever false sense of reality that they're living in, think that it's okay to do what they're doing, and think that it's okay to go in and to just shoot and kill someone. They say that I've heard some people say that it was because it was a fight that people had. You know, let's talk about fighting. And we all, if you're of a certain age, you grew up and you used to fight growing up. We used to fight all the time. Some of my me and some of my best friends, we got into fist fights with your hands, with your hands. They don't do that no more. They don't do that anymore. Now it's like it's not a fist fight any longer. It's I'm gonna blast you. I'm gonna wet you up. Put some holes in you. Man, let's go back to the day if you're upset at somebody, just fight. And I'm not condoning fighting. I'm certainly not condoning violence. But I'm saying if you just fight, y'all get in that fight, one of y'all win, one of y'all lose, y'all still live. Y'all still live. Somebody might pick at you for getting your butt whooped. Okay. But you're here to hear them pick at you. You're here to hear them pick at you. It's okay. You're not gonna win them all. There's always somebody better than you. There's always somebody bigger and badder than you. So, if you think you're the biggest and the baddest one, So just get back to the days where if you have a dispute with somebody step on your little shoes. Y'all fight over anything these days. Well, y'all want to shoot and kill each other. Y'all don't fight, but y'all want to shoot and kill each other over anything. Somebody step on your shoes. Somebody bump into you by mistake in the wrong way, and don't say excuse me. Maybe they didn't even know they bumped you, man. Maybe they didn't even know they bump you. But here you go. Here you go. You ready to fight. You ready to go and kill somebody because they bumped into you. Ain't that something? You ready to go get your heat. And you ready to shoot somebody because someone bumped into you. Okay, let me see. We got a phone call here. Let me check my phone lines here. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This Tucson.
Tucson. Good morning.
I ain't gonna even say where I'm from.
Man, go ahead. Tell me.
I'm from Haiti. I'm from Haiti.
Man, I don't know if you want to be from Haiti right now, man, because they got some things going on, brother.
I say I'm from.
Oh, okay.
I made it.
You made it?
Oh.
Thank God we made it. Yes, sir. Tucson, let me go ahead and tell everybody where you're from. This is Donald Tucson. This is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. Donald Tucson. He from Mississippi. Y'all look. If y'all never heard of it, look it up. If y'all never heard of it, look it up. Y'all see it. It's on the map. It's on the map.
When you get to the Gulf of Mexico, keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Don't you turn right nor left. Keep going straight. And I promise you, you will get there. Tucson, I'm talking this morning, brother, about the another mass shooting, another shooting in the school, man. Another shooting in the school. I know you heard about it, man. It's all over the news right now. Tucson, what's really going on, man?
I hadn't heard about it, but we are living in some treacherous times.
Mm-hmm.
I heard of two people, mothers, parents, that I don't know what's going on. It's probably going on, facing everything that we're facing. But they decided that some kind of way they heard a voice that told them to take their children's life.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I haven't heard of this one.
When it's here in Mississippi.
Mm.
Um, um, and anytime you blame it on the creator as the voice. You notice I said the creator, and
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say. They said, let me put it the way. They said God told them.
Mm.
One of them. Okay, so now the question is, who's God?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not who's God. Oh, who's God?
Mm-hmm. Whose God are
What
you
I
talking
mean
about?
is not who is God,
Mm-hmm.
but what God you talking about,
Exactly.
or who's God? What person's God are you talking about? Because everybody got a God somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Come on.
And so even when you talk about people with the shootings, if you ask them, they'll give you a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll try to make it seem like it's logical.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been going on for a while, you know. Even I don't want to say what I was just going to say, but even the persons that decide to drive planes into the World Trade Center said somebody told them to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
And
these people, you know, go ahead.
and what they do, and you're absolutely right, Tucson. And what they do, they try to say that God told them to do this. Now, different parts of the different parts of the world, they refer to God. They use a different verbiage as to how they call him out or what they call him. Like I
Yeah,
said, some people call him Buddha, some people
yeah.
call him Allah, some people call him God. You know, it depends on where you are. But to say that God told you to do that, I don't, Tucson. I don't know how that's set with me, brother.
You know, and then we even look at Old Testament scriptures that kind of like, wow, okay. So it's just the interpretation of it. Here's another thing about you know, when you get to that point, you look at your situations.
Mm-hmm.
This virus that we got is
Yeah.
difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say there's no job, so you can work. It's which job you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even here, I think people have until the 8th of December to decide whether they want a job or not.
Whether they want what now?
A job.
Oh, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be, and then it's it's off the table at that point.
On the night, no, when they on the 9th of December, when they come to work, the badge is not going to work.
Mm. Wow.
That's it. Now, here's the thing: some people are trying to feed their families.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just, they just attacking somebody. They get attacking somebody.
But Tucson,
So people mind go. Anytime you start attacking children, it makes you wonder
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for what.
But see, Tucson,
And then
I
another
got.
question I got.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, the corporate. How old was he? Who was he? Was he from? I bet you one thing. He wasn't from no other country.
No. Mm-hmm.
You know how they say these certain people are terrorists.
Yep, coming across the border and destroying our people.
Garments.
Yeah, they coming across the border and they're destroying our people. They coming across the border and they doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
And she we good people on this side. We don't go for all them things. We don't do it. No, all these mass shooters are domestic. All these mass shootings are domestic from people from this soil right here, from the United States of America that's doing these things. And so They want you to believe that, let's close the borders. Okay, if you close the border, you might be making it safer for them that's outside the border than the ones that's in here, because the ones that's inside of the ones that's inside of the borders are the ones that's doing all these killings. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. 678. Exactly. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Back to the old number. I think that thing is back up and working like it's supposed to. So we're gonna try that one again. The old number, Tucson gave us some issues this morning. So I was like, man, look here. Okay, I always gotta have a backup. Always gotta have a backup. But yeah, that's where we are. 678-381-1973. I think that number is working back as it should. And so if it is, that'll be a great thing. But if not, we'll go back to the other number. But we ain't gonna stop. We can't quit, can't stop, Donald. But Donald,
No,
you remember the days, Donald Tucson, when and I had to call your whole name when I asked you this question. You remember back in the days, man, when we was in school as school age kids, and we used to get and have an argument or something, and we used to fight. We take out our fist and fight each other. Donald, where those days go, man? Now these people want to put holes in you, wet you up, and instead of fighting, they want to shoot you. They want to shoot you. What happened? What happened to the fighting days, Tucson?
We used to fight until we become friends. Matter of fact, that's how we greeted each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just in case you really got into a fight, the greeting was they gonna punch you in the chest.
Exactly.
I mean, and then if you did fall out, you fight today and meet up tomorrow and fight again.
Fight again and fight again. Exactly.
Win, lose, or draw. And we can have this thing, man. We fight and we become friends. Man, look, I'm tired of fighting you.
Yeah. Let's go find somebody else we can fight, man.
We got to settle it. Yeah, we got to settle this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we come up with busted lip and busted eye and
exactly
knocked out teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll wait till it go down or fight with a busted lip.
Exactly.
Now, if you step on somebody's shoe, they want to shoot you.
Man, they want to kill you dead because, and I was talking about this earlier too, son. I think a lot of it is a mental thing. They've been playing those video games. Somebody said this on one of the chats. They've been playing those video games, man, and them shoot 'em up games where they're killing each other, going around just shooting each other, reloading, and continue to shoot and kill each other until they die themselves. I'm thinking they think that there's a reset button because when you're down in a video game, you hit that reset button, man, and you play all over again, start the game all over again. The timer starts all over, and you keep going. But Tucson, in life, in this real thing that we call life, there is no reset button, brother. You shoot and you kill somebody, they're not coming back to play again tomorrow. It's over. And I think these kids kids and some grown folk have a misconceived notion in their mind to think that, well, we just hit the reset button, they'll be back tomorrow. No, they won't. And
then I sit down there and play or watch them play first.
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And then they got some other game that, they ride in the car to get out the car and the lady running across the street and they'll just either take the gun and just shoot her or
mm-hmm.
neck or
yeah. I know. I know that I can't think of the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Auto something.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They be shooting each other in that game too.
They just. Mm-hmm. I was watching them play, and I decided to play with them because you're trying to connect with these children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did she just kick his chest out?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll get right back up and fight some more.
Exactly.
Life is not like that, though.
No. Not at
then
all.
They sit down there and regret when the judge give them life sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late then.
And see, What? Go ahead, Tucson.
no, I do prison ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we go there and we have the church call and people at an adult detention center. They are either coming from a prison sentence or going to. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a midpoint. And when those that are going to comes in the building while we having church service, everybody's not involved, so we in an open area where all the inmates are there, whether they want to have church or be part of it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And they're from different backgrounds. Some don't believe nothing, some believe in, some praying, some singing, some cussing, some playing cards, some doing this, and that. But I'm in the setting, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we ask whoever want to be involved, you're welcome to. So all of a sudden, while we're in the midst of it, the door opens, the guards come in with some more inmates.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they say?
What's that?
Hey, my boy back.
Hmm?
Hey, my boy back. Man,
Who are they talking about?
like the a new inmate that come in there.
Mm. Wow.
They just high fiving and everything else.
Like it's a family reunion.
Glad glad to see you.
Mm.
I'm telling you, I ain't talking about somebody told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them I see them on the street, and I say, man, come see me.
Yeah.
And I see them again, and they're doing the same thing. I say, come see me. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing. See them a week, a month later. I say, come see me before I come see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and when I do get there, and I understand, I don't ask them what they in there for, or whatever. But when I see them, and they open the door, let me in, and you should see them. They got their Bible in their hand. But this one, look, I've been reading this passage of scripture. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you playing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just live in a world where you can basically do whatever you want because
Mm-hmm.
we fussing and fighting so much. The fussing and fighting is normal,
Yeah. Exactly.
and
Exactly.
we all going through. Everybody got a funeral they're heading to or just left from.
Mm-hmm.
Life is really, if you let it be, life is really depressing.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And
And
that's a
so
sad
people,
reality. That's a sad reality right there, Tucson. Go ahead though.
yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And people, and some people can't handle depression.
Yeah.
They can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So they take it out on somebody else, anybody. So they
Mm-hmm.
sit there and with the video game mentality. I saw this on TV, and the guy just did this and that and other. So they seen it happen before, and so they just decide to pick a school
Mm-hmm.
and go there, loaded, locked and loaded,
Mm.
and that's where we're at. That's where we are because people are really disturbed. You
Don't
know,
people just don't I've come to the conclusion after doing this broadcast for as long as we've been doing it and talking to as many people as we talk to on a daily basis. A lot of times I really feel as though people don't value life like they used to. People don't value their life or anybody else's life like they used to. And because of that reason, that's why it's so easy for them to pick up a weapon and take somebody out, man. And they don't care whether, in the process, if they get taken out, it don't really matter to them because life has they don't value it anymore. Excuse me. They don't value life anymore.
no,
And because of that reason, man, they don't care whether they killed or be killed. How,
and
how
that's the sad reality.
mm-hmm.
They really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their life is not worth much.
Mm-hmm.
Your life ain't worth nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we just have to be on guard, not scared.
Mm-hmm.
Be on guard everywhere we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because truth of the matter, you never know who it is that's walking down that aisle with you in Walmart, Kroger, or wherever you at, um, that have that mentality. That's looking, that's just looking for some action, and that's crazy, man. Just looking for some action. They're looking for somebody that's going. I wish a mother trucker would. The mentality.
And that's the sad reality. And we it's funny,
Yeah.
but it's you right on point.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you would. I
Mm-hmm.
wish you would stand close to me. I
Yep.
wish you would call for me. I wish you
Mm-hmm.
would sneeze on me
Mm-hmm.
because I got problems
I
and I
wish you.
want to take it out on somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. And
So road rage,
mm-hmm.
don't say nothing about that because you know what I find out? The
What's
best
that?
thing to do, drive your own car.
Yep. 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 I tell my
Don't
wife.
you say nothing.
I tell my wife, and my daughters that all the time. I said, because we be on the phone or something like that, and somebody done cut them off or not driving the way they want to drive or whatever. I said, listen. I said, just drive your car. I said, drive your car. Don't worry about their car. You can't drive their car. Drive yours. Drive your car. Don't
Yeah,
worry. Yeah, you can't drive nobody else's car. Now you can't drive two cars at one time. You only can drive one. So drive your car. But so many people, man, they get see
exactly.
people take and to some people take things so personal. People take it personal, man. And because of the fact that they take it personal,
Mm.
man, it's like, oh, you did that to me, or you can't do that to me. What makes you so special? Truth of the matter, what
Mm.
make you, and that's why about myself as well. Ain't nothing so special about me where this person can't cut me off. What made me so special that
And
they go ahead?
you said something, and if just think, if you're not special to your own self,
Mm-hmm.
you're a menace to society.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are people that are not even special in their own life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They feel worthless, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, take for instance, okay, and we talk about. I hate to talk about this because it's such a difficult topic.
Mm-hmm.
The verse depends on who you talk to. So I really don't talk to anybody about it because if you want to have a long conversation, let's talk about it. Here it is. The mandate.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've been working for a company for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, right? I'm just
Yes.
using this for an example.
Mm-hmm.
And they give me, let's see, um, really, they're telling you got a week to sign up, to be signed up for a vaccination that may or may not do you any good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you got less than 2 months to be fully vaccinated, or you can go work somewhere else.
Mm.
Period. Period.
Wow.
Period.
Mm.
And I just bought a house. Now, I'm not saying me.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're
I'm
saying.
just saying
Yeah.
that person.
As a whole,
That
yeah.
person just bought a house. Their kids are in college or high school or junior high. Just had a kid.
Mm-hmm. Ain't got too many choices in that
They
matter.
they just getting started. Anyway, just got hired on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to have it. But now they've come in and they had to go lucky and they get presented the new email that has come out. Or they listen to the news and they say, oh, it's not going to affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it runs to your door.
Mm-hmm.
I told you what happened when I went to my son's graduation. to Chicago.
Yes.
1,000 miles. I drove 1,000 miles to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a vaccination card in my pocket.
Uh-huh.
And I had to watch it live stream in my car.
Wow.
Just like everybody else that didn't have it.
After traveling so
So
far.
you get on the
Yeah.
show did.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was gonna do, raise hell with the Navy?
No. Ain't gonna do you no good.
How would that work out for me?
Not very well at all, sir.
How you think that would have worked out?
Not very well at all. Not well at all. Rico, good morning. How you
Oh,
doing
y'all
this
go-
morning? I'm sorry.
Let me in.
I'm sorry. Did I finish your
No,
thought?
no. Oh, y'all gonna let me in. Rico, what's really going on?
Rico, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear y'all. What's going on? Grand Rising, everybody, man. I don't know what's going on, Donald. I mean, it's a new day and a new age now. With that being said, as far as not being able to go in without your card, your vaccination card, people might as well get ready for it, or they might as well get ready to put the boots on the ground and revolt. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a violent thing, but it does have to be a consistent movement against what's going on. Maybe it needs to be a little more studying done, a little more studies done scientifically to see if this really is something that needs to happen, because there are a lot of ramifications behind having this requirement. You can start causing a big epidemic in bias.
Mm-hmm.
Discrimination, you know what I'm saying? You start refusing people service because they don't have certain things, and it really shows that, we need to really sit down and think about what we value as a society of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
What comes first, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have so many people that their livelihood, I don't even want to say their livelihood, I'm gonna say their motivation and their biggest interest is on economy. Then you have some that's big that have a bigger interest in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got those two factions in play, somebody gonna lose. And so right now humanity is losing because you have certain people in politics. Prime example, everybody saw that about the Facebook scandal. Well, now I don't even want to call it a scandal, the situation that happened with the whistleblower. We got to praise these whistleblowers too. We got to put them on a prop. But, she still left out a few things. There are a lot more issues that should have been addressed. But they addressed something that we already knew about. And now she exposed Mark Zuckerberg and, the dangers of AI, how much society is being controlled by the thought process of a computer algorithm. And they can control this algorithm to allow certain things. So it's certain things they know have been going on. But when I looked at it on C-SPAN the other day, I saw the congressional hearing, bipartisan agreement across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in unison. I'm like, well, why is it that everybody's in unison and you don't have this, this disagreement, these split sides on something so logical when you have other situations that are so logical that you can't get people to agree? And what it is this is a case that lobbyists can't get involved with. So I looked in the faces of those Republican and those Democrat politicians just sitting there smiling and acting in cahoots together and just cooperating. And I thought about all the other times that they didn't agree on legislation that we needed passed and why. And it's all because you have some people that will sell themselves out to those lobbyists to get another point across. They'll get elected under one guise and then go and start fighting on behalf of the other. So as a society, we got to make a decision which way we're going to go. And the people that we're electing and putting in office to represent us, we got to hold them accountable to be consistent and not flip-flop and start trying to find ways to argue on behalf of those that are paying to have their way.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that's the thing, man. It boils down to, and sad as it is, we put people in office to represent us to be the voice of the community and the communities, but they get caught up in that money thing, man. They get so caught up in that money. How much you gonna get? How much am I gonna get for this? How much I gonna if I vote this way, man? It goes down to that dollar bill. It goes right back to that dollar bill, and that's very unfortunate, man. Because you get up here, you make all these promises. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm for the people, and we together, and blah blah blah. Then you get in the office, and you want to get your hand greased and grease your palms and all this stuff. Come on, man. What happened to what happened? Go ahead.
You had made a mention earlier about the school shootings.
Yes.
And it's funny because at one point in time we used to be like, oh, you could tell that wasn't nobody black.
Yep.
If they were black, they'd have been killed, or wasn't nobody black do nothing like that. Well, yesterday somebody black did it.
Sure did.
So we still adapting to a certain culture that isn't naturally part of what we do. But I saw a video the other day where they interviewed some young children, and I'm gonna call them children, they teens in Chicago, that had already been getting in a lot of trouble, and they asked them whether they get the influence from. Why did they say Grand Theft Auto?
Wow.
See, but we've been knowing this.
Mm-hmm.
We've been knowing the impact of media, the influence of video games. We've been knowing the impact that it has on society. TV, yes. Radio. It started with War of the Worlds. You know what I'm saying? They put out something for entertainment, and people took it serious and went crazy. They thought we were being attacked by aliens.
Yep.
People that could afford radios, and it became a craze. So I think, if I ain't mistaken, it might have been some people killed themselves when that happened. So the thing is they know that this science exists. It's almost like a witchcraft or a psychology. They know the game that it plays. And so they put these video games out here, and for decades, they fought to have the right to put video games out there, and knowing that parents was not going to look at the rating system, but they were just going to say, it's just a game.
Yeah.
It's just a cartoon.
Rico, truth of the matter is just a babysitter. It's just a babysitter. And that's really what it is, because them kids get on them kids and folks get on them games, man, and hours go by. You ain't got to worry about them. What are they at? They're over there playing that game. And they become
if you want to call it playing a game, I sat back and watched somebody play Grand Theft Auto, and there's no objective to it besides just going out and being a criminal.
Yeah.
You got the opportunity to go to a strip club. Now, these young children playing these games. When I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute. They showing two men kissing.
Wow.
I mean, and you riding around just jacking cars and beating up people and shooting police and starting shootouts. Then you look at what's going on in the community. Look at what's going on in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Left and right, people getting killed for cars being stolen and street racing through traffic. All this is nothing but a replay of Grand Theft Auto, but we have known historically that society follows what has been programmed to see as acceptable.
Absolutely. Captain Leonard, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, in the Morning Glow family. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Leonard, I'm gonna ask you a question, man. Cause I know you in the loop in Atlanta area as to what's going on. I came back. I came back, man. When I came back, I had to go to Virginia, take care of some personal family business, and I was on my way back from the airport. What are the other when cars break down and get burned down or wrecked or something like that? Is Atlanta just leaving them there now, man? Because I saw a car that was, like it been sitting there for a couple of days, and it caught on fire and it burned up, and it was just sitting there. And I saw another car, the whole front end was torn off, man. The axle was bent off of it, and it was just sitting on side. It was just sitting there. Different spots on 85 and 85 and 285. Right. Are they just leaving the cars there now, man? Or what's really going on?
It really depends on what happens too. Everybody don't call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that stuff is up on the side of the road, and it's hope that you retrieve it. Now, what will happen is after a few days, they will pick it up.
Okay, because I was like, man,
but I can tell you right now, it ain't on no priority list.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a priority to get it off the road.
Yeah, because
they get it off the road, get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe sometimes that they're hoping. You know how sometimes if it's not bad, they'll put a sticker on it to let you know, okay, they don't pass by it one time. But then the sticker changes, they let you know it's the second time. After that, it's sold.
But see, my thing is, and one of the cars was wrecked. It was wrecked and everything, and it was in a
right.
Yeah. But the other car I saw, it was, man, that car like it burnt. It was from the bumper to the bumper to bumper. It was burned crisp, man. Ain't nobody coming to get that car, man.
Yeah.
That car burned.
Hey, look, we don't know the person's situation with the insurance, none of that.
Yeah.
But if the police were called, you would think that at that time is when arrangements, but you can't, I don't think you could really, tow it on fire or if it's still hot.
Mm-hmm. But I was like, man,
that kind of thing. So that would be a good thing to ask these people that are running for mayor of the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. now, what do you think, Leonard? Again, yesterday, man, there's been a school shooting. It's been a school shooting we're talking about, and Rico brought some very good things to the table, as well as Donald Toussaint. He's with us, and man, is it them video games, man? Do you think that has a part to play in it, man? Why all these school shootings are happening? People just go in there thinking they can shoot these people up and hit a reset button and they'll come back tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. But what do you think? Why do you think we're having all these school shootings?
Well, it's frustrating to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But sin is sin.
Mm-hmm.
Violence is violence.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't a video game to blame it on, it'd be something else to blame it on.
Yeah.
Evil people exist in this world to do evil, to cause hurt to other people.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's the way some people handle their issues. That's why we have people who are what you'll call, they have mental problems.
Mm-hmm.
And they take their actions out on everybody else.
Mm.
You can't be so simple to believe that because someone plays a video game makes them want to go out and commit heinous crimes like this.
Yeah.
Heinous crimes existed before video games.
Mm-hmm.
Heinous crimes don't exist after video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People playing video games at these ages are not so ignorant that they can't separate real life from reality.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a problem like every other criminal sitting in prison.
Wow. Because
let me come behind that, man. You know what I'm saying? I sort of agree with what Leonard's saying, but I'm gonna relate that to a situation because an adult would, but a child may not. That's why now you have a system going on where people are being resentenced for crimes that they did as a child because they weren't thinking maturely or as an adult, or maybe they had a child's mind when they committed what they committed. Now you take, for instance, some of these children playing these games at 3 or 4 years old. Now you ask us what we think, but then you could go back and look at what this little boy said, and he telling you from the horse's mouth why he felt like it was cool to do some of the things he was doing, stealing cars, shooting at people. Why did you get in all this trouble? Where did you pick up this type of behavior from? Grand Theft Auto. When you hear it from the horse's mouth, you can't go back and say what somebody else is thinking. Doesn't make sense when they telling you this is why I did it. This is where I got this from. So now I'm speaking. So now I'm gonna speak from experience. My father is a very peaceful man, very cooperative. Doesn't have a violent bone in his body. Never been to jail for anything. Me, I done been to jail for whooping on some people. I done been to jail for dumping some shots. Where did I get that from? Where did I get that influence of that program from to think it was okay to behave violently when people make you mad or when people do something to you instead of acting in peace? Because I didn't get that from my mama, my dad, or none of my people, my grandparents. Only my abusive stepdaddy that exposed me to that type of mindset and behavior. And it started at a young age. And so it took me to realize, you know what, man? I learned how to respond to certain things because I saw how other people responded that were my example. Now, some people got those video games and you listening to see, we got to listen to the children. We could be as eloquent as we want to. But when a child tells you the reason why I thought it was okay to do this and it was fun because of Grand Theft Auto, we be fools to ignore it.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Toussaint, and then I'm gonna circle back around to you.
Also remember, Grand Theft Auto is not for children, and one you wouldn't normally psychologically attribute one activity to all the other activities. This particular issue and I don't know, this particular issue has its own soup, its own mix on why it happened. And so, one, you would say, then why don't you handle every situation like that? You don't handle every situation like that. But for some reason, you thought in your head that it was okay to do this time. Do you understand the difference?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can't just say this one incident is because of that when you have all of these other things that probably contributed to it.
Mm.
Or even that particular thing having the highest relation to why whatever the act was. It could have just been a bad day for that person.
Mm. Watch this. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Influence. I thought about something when y'all was talking, Rico and all y'all. Listen, check this out. Remember the Kung Fu era?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With Bruce Lee and the nunchucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yes.
That's what everybody mostly try to get.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you have a set?
Yeah, I did. 2 sets actually.
Sure did. One time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody walking around with busting themselves in the head, trying to figure out how to work until they perfected it. Then they brought it to school.
Mm-hmm.
And the fights that we used to have with our fists, all of a sudden, nunchucks was brought out. And remember the rakes that we used to comb our hair with?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The brass knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so let me show you
we
how.
was looking at it. And I'm just saying that sometimes we'd be influenced, but we're so influenced by violence these days that violence is normal.
Just a brief moment of just a brief second here, y'all. I want y'all to just to reflect a little bit.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Everybody
y'all
was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with expert timing.
Go ahead, Tucson.
And of course, I don't think that's fair.
What's that?
That's about martial arts.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Who wouldn't want to know martial arts?
You're right. You're right. Because, boy, look here. I know. Look here. Let me ask y'all a question. And maybe it was only me, man. Maybe I want all three of y'all to answer this if you can.
So sorry for being. I'm on a Friday schedule. I do apologize, Raheem.
but let me ask you this. I know all of us has gone either at the movies or on television and watched a martial arts movie, Bruce Lee, Into the Dragon, or whatever it is. Why is it after the movies, we all want to get up and jump up and down and kick and throw chopped and am I the only one used to do that, man? Yeah. Huh?
You enjoy the movie.
Absolutely.
You enjoy the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole purpose. To enjoy the movie.
But
get experience. Yeah.
Hey, Leonard. But why when we get out the movie we kick each other in the chest?
Hey, we didn't realize just how important them legs was, man. We went to kicking like some fools, then we.
Exactly. That was our thing.
But having fun is a long way away from mass murder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just too far a gap.
Exactly.
To attribute that, because think about it. We want to live in a society that let's just unplug society.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to live in that place.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot more people are more reminiscent than me, but I believe in progress and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine a time when it was just so great to be here. I didn't get here till 71,
mm-hmm.
and they've been fighting ever since.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't remember this time of great peace and all this type of thing. I don't.
Mm-hmm. Did you say you got here in 71 and they've been fighting ever since?
They've been fighting ever since I got here. So I've never been in a place where there was no killing and murdering and people just tripping out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If they weren't doing it here, they were doing it somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
But we have to focus on the violence and and how mentally disturbed you have to be in order to commit heinous crime,
mm-hmm.
which is the reason why many states are looking at statute now to charge these young people as adults.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things, man, that one of the things, and we got another caller. Gonna go to the call in just 1 second. But one of the things that I found interesting, man, I was listening to the radio on the way here. Again, I listen to XM radio a lot of the times, and a fella asked the Black Eagle this morning. He said, "Well, I've never seen a situation where there was a school shooting, and they showed the guy's picture, the student's picture." And the guy he was trying to say, well, because it was a black person this time, they showed the picture of what the person looked like. And I'm like, man, no, I don't know. I couldn't. I see where he was trying to go, but I couldn't ride with him on that. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man, we can't make everything a race issue. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it does exist, but mm-hmm. I definitely know for a fact that they have shown pictures of school shooters immediately after mm-hmm. they arrested them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that's what gets me. I had somebody try to use a race card against me, another black woman tried to play the black card against me. I said, man, I'm the most racist black person you could, according to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna use the card that I'm hurting my own black people? So we'll use it to justify or to deflect. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was thinking about that earlier when you said that about Dylan Roof, and I thought to myself, man, how sometimes people can use religion and use it in an expendable way. It's like they'll honor, I'm gonna say, religion and patriotism. Mm-hmm. They'll use it as a convenience. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to their white superiority, well, you know what? I'm gonna put God on the back burner, and I ain't gonna even respect this church that we like to burn down. I ain't gonna respect this church. I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna pray to the good Lord above, and then I'm gonna send these niggers to see him. Mm. Somebody don't believe in somebody. Somebody knows, somebody knows something we don't know what they playing. Mm-hmm. And so they're using Jesus as a convenience. They're using religion and patriotism as a convenience. But then just as soon as we start saying, well, hey, we deserve the same rights as Americans too. Mm-hmm. We start finding out that it's a little different. You know what I mean? So, at times we can use examples of what bias has been implemented. But that's one of the cases where you have to just sit back and say, nah, I ain't fixing to agree with that. You're not fixing to sit back and make me use black power even in a criminal situation like that. Mm-hmm. Or even make up an accusation that they don't, they so prejudiced now, they don't even show the pictures of the white killers. Look, they show pictures of white cop killers. Yeah. Cops. Mm-hmm. So, I have never seen them hesitate. The little guy that got charged with affluenza, you can see his picture all day long. So I never, like I said, sometimes we hear people make arguments that don't exist. But I'm gonna go back to what Leonard said a second ago too, about that the video game not making somebody shoot up a school. And that's true. The video game probably didn't make him say, well, I'm gonna go shoot the school up. There was some frustration involved, had to be some anger, maybe some bullying. Maybe somebody robbed them. Could be a lot of situations that happen, but that was still something that desensitized him, that made him feel like that this is the way I want to act out. And that's where the video game influence come in at, because you get desensitized. Like you said, I'm glad Donna brought that up about Kung Fu fighting. Everybody want to fight they want to do kung fu.
Yeah.
Every Saturday morning and Friday night, we was watching the kung fu theater.
Mm-hmm.
Some people even try to do their hair like that if they could. I mean, they wore the clothes and everything, tried to adapt that culture. They tried to adapt to that culture, not just Miss Martial Arts, but they wanted a piece of all of that. And so, you know, when you realize the science of it, the science of the brain, yeah, I think a lot of this stuff does go back to being desensitized about what they're seeing on TV and on the internet and on video games consistently, just bombarded with violence, to where it seems like, oh, that's just another day. Ain't nothing new. That's normal.
Exactly. Now, Kurt, good morning, Kurt. How you doing this morning?
Hey, what's up, bro? I got a heavy heart this morning, man.
What's going on with you?
Well, I mean, you know, just normal things, you know what I mean, rehearsal, stuff like that. But I lost my god brother this morning at 1 o'clock.
Sorry to hear that, brother. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man. You know, I was listening to the news this morning. Today's show had an update, and Rico just said something. The initial investigations is finding out that this kid that shot these folk up in Texas was being bullied. They talked to several students, and the students said that he had been being bullied, and he hit a point where he said he was not going to take it no more. And what I noticed is the sheriff came on TV, and when he was interviewed, the sheriff said one specific point that automatically told me that either this kid was being bullied or it's more to the story. The sheriff said it was not a random shooting. He said it was a pinpoint shooting. Meaning, when you hear sheriff say that, what he's saying is that the suspect shot at or shot a specific person that he intended to shoot.
Yeah, he had a target.
Now, that's not to say, that's not to say that some people didn't get caught up in the melee, and I'm not condoning what the young man did. But I am going to say that we are in a society where people are not going to, we got a generation of kids that are not going to allow for you to bully them too much. And if you go too far with it and you continue to push people to the point of break, or you continue to attempt to exploit folks and or mistreat folk, it's things like this that will happen. The larger concern is, for me, is what was this kid's mental health? Because when kids are being bullied, they will show you signs that there is something going on personally, internally in them that should be addressed. And the biggest point of them all, I think, not to diminish that this kid took somebody's life and wounded 3 other people, but I have to say it, bro. What is going on with these gun laws? When do we as a society say it is too many guns on the street?
Hey, Kurt, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. Hey, Kurt, let me say this to you. What do you say to the people? And you know you're going to get this argument. You're definitely going to get, well, what you just said, you're going to get this argument right here. I promise you. People, there's somebody out there that's going to say, well, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And so it doesn't matter how many guns you have. People are the one pulling the trigger. The gun, you can take the gun, take 1,000 guns, set on the table, ain't nobody going to die. It's until somebody pick up that gun and point it and pull the trigger. What do you say to those people?
What I say to those people is guns are being made accessible, too easily accessible to a community that is already railing from the disadvantages of a regular life. The guns are being made too accessible. Listen, we only got two hands. I ain't never seen nobody fire a gun with their feet. I still ain't seen that yet. Hopefully one day, maybe we'll get to see that and be like, wow, he actually fired this gun with his feet. But we only got two hands. You got people walking around here, man, with a full arsenal in their cabinet. For what? You got people buying AR-15s and they justify owning the AR-15 because I go hunting. Now, Raheem, you know, listen, man, we old country boys, man.
Yeah.
What deer meat you gonna eat if you shoot that deer with an AR-15?
You're not.
Let's just be honest. You shoot a squirrel with an AR-15 or automatic. What part of that squirrel you gonna eat, man? You gonna taste a whole bunch of metal and bullets.
Exactly.
Gunpowder, whatever. But you're gonna dank the meat. So listen, I'm not saying that it's not appropriate for people have the right to bear arms. They got that right. All I'm saying is it is too accessible to a community who has already been mistreated, black, white, or candy stripe. Because right down in South Baltimore, you got we in the country, we call them trailer park trash. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. Down in South Baltimore, just like you got poor communities in Baltimore City that's black, you go down South Baltimore, you got some extremely poor communities down there, and they white. Whenever you got a community as such that is extremely poor, don't have no hope, and then you flood that community with a bunch of guns, things like this will happen. If you have a bunch of mental health issues in a community and you got that same community flooded with guns, things like this will happen.
Absolutely.
I'm not condoning it.
Absolutely.
But it's the truth. I just ended with this, Raheem. You know what? As much people hate to hear us say it, but Obama told it, and nobody listened to him. They blew him off. He told it. He said one of the biggest problems in America is the gun trade that's going on. I forget what the straw purchase gun trade that's going on. He said right now, as I'm speaking to y'all, we have evidence that there is a group of guys who are transporting guns in white vans from Tennessee to Maryland. They blew them off. A week later, guess what happened? They bang out 2 trailers of cocaine going from New York to California, and a van or 2 vans coming from Tennessee to Baltimore with the specific purpose of selling all of them guns in Baltimore. The guns was already purchased.
Wow. What's on your? Let me give the phone number. The phone lines are open: 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Again, 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Leonard, what's on your heart right now?
I'm listening because everybody, there's different points of view or what have you. But I just believe there's an evil in people that even if you had sticks, they would kill each other with sticks. So, I've never been in a situation where, I hear, I was born and raised in the hood, but ain't nobody never gave me nothing for free. So, I would be careful to say that just because of a person's income, that they don't have a right to a gun.
Yeah. Wow.
That's one conversation. Because you're in a certain situation, you're normally prone to violence this type of way. You can live in a society if you choose that way, but that doesn't look very great. And also you have to think of, like you said before, when you look at the information, when you get down to it, even like Kurt just brought up, it was something else.
Yeah.
There's a reason people behave out of what is done to them a lot of times. Then you have your really crazy people who are on that level of being insane that just want to hurt people, period. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about guns or whatever, and violence or whatever, but all that always comes back to the community that I'm from. It never goes anywhere else but back to the community where people that look like me are.
Yeah.
Now, you have these other people who are more, when we had the Brady Bill and things of that nature, but what you have to understand is you're not stopping producers from manufacturing weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Make that just as criminal as getting an abortion.
Come on.
So you have the right to own the weapons, but do you have a right to manufacture weapons?
Mm-hmm.
These are issues that bother me the most. I'm not going after people who need weapons to protect themselves. Like I said, I was born and raised in the hood, and ain't nobody never rolled up on me and gave me nothing. Mm-hmm. If I wanted a AK-47, I had to earn that money first to buy that AK-47.
Mm-hmm.
So let's miss this about everybody can get one.
Wow.
Because it costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be a high level earner to be buying 4 and 5 AK-47s to assault someone or some group of people. So we have to be very careful when we respond emotionally to the news and then try to relate that to public policy.
Okay.
Because that's a big difference. Because people who live in certain areas would have the notion that things are somehow worse for them than others. And they will almost begin to come up with laws that are unjust even to them, responding emotionally to a situation.
And then are we talking about, to a certain degree, excuse me, are we talking about that woe is me type mentality?
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
These, like, as if Negro problems are so much worse than white people problems. White people are just as disturbed as black people are disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no huge difference in why black folks commit crime and why white people commit crime.
Mm-hmm.
The motivation is the same. Everybody out here committing crime. I used to get sick of hearing this. Well, I had to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was doing what I was. That's an excuse.
Yeah.
For the behavior that you chose to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did this because my father wasn't in my life. Okay, explain that to me. Explain that to me, really. Why you're standing here telling me the reason why you're committing crimes is because you didn't have a father in your life.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's just socially ought to be unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And then in some situations I have to sit down and go a little deeper. And then once I get a little deeper, I was locked up with some people one time, man. To me, I just didn't understand why they didn't have any kind of sense of logic. They were completely chaotic.
Rico.
And then, yeah.
Right.
I'm going to take you solo for a second.
All right. They were completely chaotic. And I started soon to find out that they didn't know any better. They didn't have any exposure or access to any other type of reasonable behavior or training. Everything around them was toxic. So, there are several different things that could happen. They could lose hope, or maybe they could just be misprogrammed, like terrorists. Some terrorists, they said 19 of them got in the plane, got in different airplanes, and did all this together in unison. No logic or no reasoning. Can you imagine 19 people doing that, grown men? So somewhere they had to be brought up on an ideology. They had to be brought up in a belief system or a certain way of life that let them know or made them believe that was acceptable to kill yourself, to hijack plane and kill other people in the name of jihad or Allah. You get what I'm saying? I mean, so in these situations, when you have people acting in chaos, yeah, they do have a choice to make if they know that choice exists. So that goes back to the guy shooting up the school. Maybe maybe he didn't have other avenues, or maybe the avenues that he did try to use to address the bullying wasn't enough. Maybe did he have any counselors that he could go to? I had experience with my son last month, well, a couple of months ago, and again this school year, with the school counselor, just being flippant with my son. And it rubbed me the wrong way, because I can remember when I was in school, there were students that struggled and they needed attention. But the counselors and the teachers and everybody just treated them flippantly because they stank. They didn't have the proper clothing. Their parents wasn't involved the way they should. And I guess it became more of a struggle for them to be helping out those children that did without. And so they started treating them a little different, dismissing them. Man, go on and get out of here, go to your class. Every time I turn around, it's a problem with you. Other black counselors at that. So I heard that happen with my son last year. And I had to get on the phone and I had to check her. Look, man, some of these students come to school, they got a lot of stuff that they're going through, and they need somebody to talk to. They need somebody to rescue them. They need somebody to know that, look, you might have to get a phone call about me. And I don't want you to get the phone call and find out something happened to me. Then later on, where I saw signs of abuse. But see, those avenues, a lot of avenues don't exist for people to get the help they need when they're being bullied or oppressed. So now what they do, they react the way that they have seen the people in their environment react. And that may be with chaos. It might be with terrorism. It might be religious extremist terrorism. Who knows? But it's really truly a lot about your programming. Like I said, I didn't become violent until I found out that was the way some people responded when they were angry. So now I have a problem with that I'm still trying to fight with. Same issues that I didn't inherit or didn't get from my parents.
And see, that's the thing right there. A lot of times, Toussaint, them kids need an outlet. They need that place where they can actually go and just let everything go, man. Because they fight. So a lot of the kids, man, and this is one of the things. A lot of kids are fighting fights that they really shouldn't have to fight. They really shouldn't have to fight, man. But they're placed in a situation where they have to do it. Toussaint, you still with us?
Yeah, man. I was just listening, and a lot of things went through my head. Access. Some people take their children to the firing range for activity. For real.
Yeah.
With AK-47s and assault weapons. I'm talking about real children. That's the environment they're growing up in. I was working with somebody, and they got upset at work to the point where they couldn't deal with what was going on. So, and this person always talking about how many guns he have, and how he couldn't buy this gun, but he can make it.
Oh, Raheem. Look like Raheem froze up, so I guess that means the phone line probably down too. I'm gonna sort of go back to what I was saying a little earlier in case this is being streamed. Curtis brought up the fact that people are using assault rifles, buying them up left and right. And we have to understand that there's only two ways you can fix this. You can either fix the people that don't need to have these dangerous weapons in their hands, or limit the access of the weapons to people just so the wrong ones don't get it. There's one or two ways it could go, but we're gonna have to do one. We either gonna have to limit the people that can access them, or we're gonna have to limit the amount of access to those things that people can get those guns or whatever. So the other choice has to be made. We got to pick either or. We can't have it both ways, because if you got it trying to do it both ways, the problem won't be solved. It'll continue to be an issue with gun violence increasing yearly. Every year it's increasing. So what choice are we going to make? Are we going to say, Well, let's put regulations on who could get access to all these guns we got behind the counters. Or we're going to say, well, you know what, let's limit how many guns so only certain people that deserve to get them can have them. It's got to be either or. You can't have it just a wide open market for guns and then a wide open market for people to say, well, I need them for protection, but some of these people are terrorists or killers. So, you know, we have to pick and choose which one is probably the most beneficial for humanity, for people, and for honor. Which one is most safe? Yeah, we do need weapons to protect ourselves, you know, but does everybody need weapons? No. Does everybody have a right to get weapons? Well, from what the law says, yes, they do. But we do have to understand that we're in a society now where people are infatuated with these weapons because of the damage that they do. So now I'm gonna go back to the video games. You know, it's one thing to talk about Grand Theft Auto and all the debauchery they could do in those games to make them desensitized to how they're supposed to carry themselves in public. But now you got Call of Duty. Call of Duty, those children get those games and they can name off just as many weapons as somebody in the SEAL team and Special Forces. You got grown people that can't name as many weapons as these children can name off. Special made weapons, weapons I never heard of. They know them. They know the specs on them. They know what they can do, all because of a video game. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that sort of makes that, I'm going to say, the action of going through shooting people, you know what I'm saying, for fun. You can actually communicate with these people. And it does seem like fun and entertainment. Going back to what I said earlier about the parents looking at certain cartoons and video games. It's just a game. It's just a cartoon, but yes, what information is coming out of that? What is being programmed into the brain of these people that's doing all this nonstop shooting? I mean, I've seen people watch Call of Duty, and it's aggravating to me because all you hear is brr, 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 brr. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, I guess people don't understand what post-traumatic stress disorder means. I guess they don't understand what the word shell shock means. You know, our brains are so sensitive to the point of, well, look, you could go to a casino and get PTSD from hearing those beans and those songs going off all the time. I could leave a casino for 2 or 3 days. I still hear those ding, 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 you a window. And I'm like, I'm getting tired of it. Yeah. So imagine what that's doing when you hear machine gun fire. 16 hours out the day, 12 hours out the day. As soon as you get out of school, now all of a sudden you riding around and you got a gun like that on your shoulder in public. You looking to use it. Not only you letting people know that you got some of this firepower with that huge clip, but you hope Ian would. Yeah. Remember what Cedric Entertainer used to say, I wish Ian would. Exactly. That's what a lot of people doing, you know what I'm saying? Because they want the opportunity to cause that same chaos that they have desired and endured and addicted to in these video games. Absolutely. Leonard, you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can't see you though. Your video not on.
Well, the video's not working right now.
Okay, that's cool. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Oh, I kind of left off, but you know, that real conversation I used to have with people about violence is very important. I wanted to address something Rico said. The reason why this is acceptable, because when you were talking about what will possess a group of people to get a plane and to drive that plane into a building, is because we're not going to ignore the fact that we have these huge Navy vessels patrolling these waters, this military ready to drop bombs on anybody that disagree. This is a way of life for everyone. Everyone uses violence to settle issues when they don't feel like talking to people. This is why we have the problems that we have now. I can't excuse a person for flying a plane into a building when he don't seen us fly hundreds of planes and drop bombs where he lives. I'm not going to fault him for what he do, because that person believed that this was a way to strike back at what had been striking at them. So the issue is not so much as the tools, as the behavior and what's pushing the behavior. Is because people are being treated badly. There are some people that believe that you just good from birth. No, you're not. And a child automatically, if you watch a child develop, The first time you do something they don't like, they scream, they holler, and they try to go after what it is they want. That is your nature.
Exactly.
So as you grow, it don't really change unless somebody introduces some moral values and ethics to you. To say, hey, no, you don't act like this when you get upset. You don't behave this way. But we have to understand, dude, we got planes flying into people's neighborhood dropping bombs every day. These kids are not just coming up with it. It's a way to accomplish a mission.
Exactly. Leonard, there's a question that's being asked of you right now. Public Citizen, he said violence is the past. We need to evolve past that. And he said, is Leonard justifying violence? Do you want to address it?
Good morning, Public Citizen. And violence is not the past. Let's correct that immediately. Violence is today. This is a very today type of thing. Violence hasn't went anywhere. Now we may have we're just not getting men to understand you can't punch your wife in the face. So look how far we still have to go before we even get to terrorism. As you know, how we deem terrorism when they do it, but when we do it, it's something completely different. See, we have to get rid of that bias and really focus, if we want to, on changing people's thought processes and how they respond to both internal and external environments. This is something that you teach people. This is not something that, like, a lot of racists get mad at me in the room. This whole notion that if it wasn't no white people, it wouldn't be no problems and it wouldn't be no violence. Y'all need to go somewhere else with that mess. That don't even make sense to the dumbest of people.
Exactly.
You know, there is violence in this world every single day, every single minute of the day.
Yeah. And see, the thing about it, the scary part is we can't close our eyes and try to shed a blind light on it as if it doesn't exist. It does exist, but we need to get to a place or a point where we can actually do something about it. Let me go to Badger. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Go ahead.
No. We're talking about right now. We're talking about the violence and what do we need to do about violence and how can we get past it. Public Citizen says, I'm gonna post it on the screen after. What's on your heart, brother?
What else did he say?
He said that violence is a mindset of people who live in the past, people who live in the prominent mindset, primitive mindset. Yeah.
Interesting. So I was also listening to Rico about like the gun stuff. And I don't know if any of you guys ever saw the documentary that showed up on Netflix where this journalist or whatnot goes talks to these people, you know, that walk the streets every day and, you know, they're selling guns to, you know, people every day, and goes through the whole process of where they get their guns, where the guns are made. He even travels over to another country, a couple of other countries, and goes deep into like actually walking into where they actually manufacture the guns that don't have serial numbers, the ghost guns. And I have a question. If a journalist is able to live and record all of this, what's stopping our government from shutting it down?
Rico?
Oh, nothing. But well, I'm gonna tell you what's stopping it. Money. Money is what's stopping them from shutting it down, because there's too much money switching hands. You know, it's the same thing as why did the opium epidemic pick up after we got control of the poppy in Afghanistan? Why didn't it slow down? where it was too much money to be made.
Yeah.
You can't afford to let all this money get by. You know, I mean, so that's the same thing that happens with these guns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think when you blocked out, I made that point that somewhere society has to make a choice. Either we got to limit the type of people that can access guns, or we got to limit the amount of guns people have access to. It's one of the two. There's only two ways to fix it. Well, one way to fix it. And that's one option, or the other option. There's no in between on that. So society and people, the NRA, everybody gonna have to come together and decide. Do we want to put regulations to where only certain people could get guns and they have to qualify? Or do we want to put a regulation on how many guns are made so only so many people can get them?
And we have those regulations now.
Okay. Here's my follow-up with that. So they put out this documentary and a couple of others involving the gangs, the guns, the drugs, and like actually going deep undercover, quotation marks, and living through it and broadcasting it to the general public of America. And then people want to start saying that they want to control guns. Wouldn't that invoke people to get more violent due to knowing that these gangs, these mafias are getting access to all these kinds of guns that you are untraceable? What the American law-abiding citizen, quotation marks, isn't going to be able to go buy a gun?
There's a lot tied into what you just said there, and I want to go to Tucson. Tucson, you still with us? Tucson?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna come to you. There's a lot tied in what you just said, Badger. And one of the things that I like to look at and I try to pay attention to is, quote unquote, the media and how they their words mean something. They play on words a lot, and a lot of times when you talk about these gangs having these guns, who are they actually speaking about? Who are they really talking about, and who are they really targeting when it comes to that? Violent to me, and y'all know how violence is violent. You kill somebody, they're dead. I don't care if they're black, white, orange, purple, lily striped, or whatever. You know, it's not right, and we should live in a place where we could coexist and love each other and not have to worry about that. But is that reality? Is that reality? Tucson, what's on your heart?
Oh, no, we put the magnifying glass on some folks, and I seldom point out that I disagree with some things because I don't. But sometimes we just disagree.
Yeah.
And for us to look in a violent society and say that violence is the thing of the past, I'm kind of confused. Or I'm missing it. Because if you have the
No, I was just gonna say I wish our public citizen could actually call in and voice exactly what he meant when he said that, because I know we've been communicating back and forth for a minute by way of this platform here. So I'm sure there's something behind what he's saying. So I wish there was a way he could call in for a few minutes and just
he cleared it up. He cleared it up. You know what I'm saying? He went back and adjusted it when he said the word primitive.
Yeah.
So, that's what he meant by the past. That's the past. He means an old past, savage, barbaric mindset.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you still have the same savage barbarians running this world.
But the mindset is primitive. What he's saying is that mindset is primitive, though.
And we're not going to say that primitive is any less than. Primitive being first. Primordial is what I would like to say. Because sometimes primitive is confused with something of the past when it's not. It's in you. It's innate. That's just as primitive as time. What is in you as a human being coming into this world was in the same human beings that came into the world before. You brought it here. So you brought your own self here, so to speak. and then you started behaving a certain way. I just explained to you how a child's natural response to you taking something from them is taking it back from you. A child's normal response to most things is self-perseverance. Some people believe this self-perseverance involves killing other people and neighboring villages. Ever since your cows was grazing on my land, they've been killing people. So this notion that somehow we can defeat violence and these behaviors is a little different than why it's here, why can't we have peace, and these things like that. We're supposed to work towards a more peaceful environment. And this is what we should be doing, working towards it and getting as close to it as we possibly can before we leave here. Or at least commit individually not to engage in such behavior.
Absolutely. Let me go back to on Tucson. I know he was making a point, and we kind of stepped on him a little bit. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh, I know. I just if you are violent with a stick in your hand versus violent with a weapon, a gun, you just violent.
Exactly.
If it's a slingshot and it's what you call that white powder that people spray over, and I can't call it. But either way, if you violent with a Bible in your hand, you violent.
Yeah.
Remember Jim Jones? He used manipulation of scripture to kill a bunch of folks.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's whether or not you got a rock or some kind of spray that you spray all over your people. It's just a mindset that you just violent.
Exactly.
And there are people that pass that down to their children to the point where, and I say it again, while we taking our children to the park and letting them play video games all day, they are in the woods training their little kids like soldiers.
Exactly.
It's assemble and disassemble weapons in the matter of how we do, like we used to do when we was in the military. They're training them to be violent. And wish something break out.
Wow.
Think about it, Raheem. Everybody. Oh, my fault. Sorry.
Go ahead, Tucson.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we spend our money on cars and rims and tennis shoes, and they buying parts for weapons that you possibly never heard of. Why would you get a weapon that can just shoot out a bunch of bullets in a matter of seconds to go hunting? That's not the intent. That don't make no sense to me.
How many deer you plan on killing? Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, I couldn't tell you. Living in Texas, where I'm at, the amount of people that I've come across that make the comment, how many guns do you own? And when they hear I don't own one, they're like, aren't you afraid of getting robbed or anything like that? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm like, I know it's going to happen. I know there's always a possibility, but why prep for something that, I'm not really that worried about? Because I can defend myself in other ways in my family.
Exactly.
If anybody got any free guns they trying to get rid of, hit me up after the show. Because that new 380 that I want ain't free. It ain't free at all by no means.
What the amount of people that have told me, well, you might need to get an arsenal together, because you never know when crap's going to hit the ceiling, and you need to be able to, fight people off and things like that. And there are so many people I know that have 20, 30, 40 plus guns.
Good Lord.
Just around where I live. It's kind of spooky. I know a couple of them own 100 plus. And I'm talking about everything from black powder to semi-automatic, and if they can get an automatic, they have automatics. If they can. You got to have special licenses for all that junk. So it's, to me, the violence that is in America is fear-based. Hugely fear-based. The news broadcasts. I've gotten so tired of social media because, like even around where I live, we have this Facebook page, and it's called it's like a neighborhood chat where the people that live in the small little town I'm in, and there's a good portion of the population is in that chat. And in this past year, since the COVID stuff has happened, theft has gone up, stealing cars have gone up, pretty much thieving kind of like across the board. Everything from stealing four-wheelers to gas cans, to vehicles, to dogs. Instead of like hearing something happen, a couple times a month, it's almost something every week.
Wow.
So and then the moment people hear that there's going to be like an ammo shortage or something like that, people freak out and start buying things left and right. So, when, in my head, I can understand the logic of, hearing that there's all these things happening all of a sudden, way more than it ever has. People that normally had no interest in a gun is probably going to go buy one right now because of self-defense.
Exactly.
Is that violence or is that self-preservation?
Or how much is that? And I'm gonna read what our public citizen said. He said, what? No. To go back to the top, he put two on here. Let me go back to this one. We are so afraid. Badger is so right. Facebook is toxic. And then the second one, he said, what was the original question? I missed the beginning of the show. Actually, we started off talking about the shooting that happened in the school, and then we just kind of snowballed into where we are right now. Rico, how much of what we're talking about right now with all the guns and people, everybody wanting to own guns, how much is that is really based on the fear factor that Badger was talking about? How much of it is fear?
Some of it is fear factor, and some of it is fascination. Because one thing about human beings, we like bigger, better, and badder. We like faster and louder. You know what I'm saying? If you get a car that goes so fast, somebody gonna try to find a way to make it faster. You get some speakers put in the car, somebody gonna try to find a way to make them speakers louder. Yeah. If somebody get a gun, they want to get one that shoot a little faster, shoot a little bit more bullets, and does a little bit more damage. It's like we consume with so many different things: competition, fascination, and just sensationalism. I mean, it's like with fireworks. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like a big loud fireworks show. You know what I'm saying? They need that adrenaline rush, that dopamine. Have you ever shot a gun or ridden a motorcycle? Ain't nothing like feeling that power in your hand when you see the fire come out that barrel that far. When you see the fire come out that barrel of that gun that far. And then you hear da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh my goodness, man. Ain't nothing like feeling that power. You know what kind of damage you could do if your mind in the wrong place. You see, this society, man, this thing has taken on his own image or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like people use guns or they use violence for different things. Some people use violence as a sport to hunt. That makes you desensitize the violence. Oh, it's okay to go out here and kill that deer. It's all right to go out here and kill that elephant or that zebra and bring it and put his head on your mountain for your self-enjoyment to say, look what I went and slaughtered. Look at me, a killer. You had to be pretty violent. It might not seem like violent, but you had to be pretty violent to go and take that animal out that was minding his own business or go to war. And take a headshot like Timothy McVeigh. So, you know, you have people that use it for sport. Then we have made violence entertaining. Now, I ain't talking about boxing and MMA. I'm talking about Call of Duty. I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto. Man, what kind of entertainment is that even for an adult to play a video game where you just randomly running around being violent and criminal and being rewarded for it in the end? Being a mafia, Vice City, whatever you want to call it. Call of Duty, you could, like I said, you can hear the gunshot over and over and over again to the point that when you go to sleep, you still hear them. You can't wait to get back on that game when you wake up in the morning, because it's something about hearing that gunfire. But when you actually put that gun in your hand, that's a whole nother story. When you actually get on that motorcycle and feel that power between your legs, a little while after you get comfortable with it, what you want to do? I want to go a little bit faster.
Exactly.
I want to see if I can make this thing do 12 o'clock. Let me see if I can stand up on the back seat. So that's what human beings do. We take it up a notch, you know what I'm saying? And then we use violence as an adjuster, as a peacemaker. Imagine making violence a peacemaker. But sometimes you got to be violent with your bully to make them act right. What they say, to make them conform and act accordingly. Sometimes you got to use violence. Some people do. They choose violence to counter violence, to bring peace. You have no choice but to defend yourself or protect yourself. So now it's to a certain point now to where violence is just, like Leonard said earlier, it's natural. The thing is trying to discover other outlets that you can use besides violence, because we know what the consequence and the outcome is.
Wow. And let me read what we got another caller. We're going to go to the call as well, but I want to read this right here. Public Citizen said this: I was speaking to a white supremacist last night, and he was very much in favor of violence because he knows it gets results. The fear of supremacy is the main emotion. Is the main emotion they feel. Let me make sure that that's everything. It's the main emotion they feel. Wow.
Didn't I say that? Some people look at it as a peacemaker. Look, Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse went looking for that action. What they call, I want the smoke. People tell you all the time they want the smoke. Because humanity and society, that we need that dopamine rush. So now you have a whole lot of people out here looking for a rush violently, looking for trouble and drama that could lead to those issues. So I mean that's sort of, you know, I ain't gonna say that justify what I was saying, but you know, to a certain extent, some people use violence as a peacemaker or an adjuster to make things even or to just make things go in their favor.
Exactly.
So they'll use it conveniently to justify what they're doing, even in war.
Wow. And Badger said that knives are scarier than guns. We and good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Good to have you with us this morning. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Doing good. Good to have you, sister. Good to have you with us. I'm asking a question. Are we just point blank period? Are we just a violent nation? Are we just
always special?
Mm-hmm.
We not don't. Okay, stop. We're not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we violent in humanity? It's not about a nation. We're not gonna act like, oh, it's just America.
Mm-hmm.
No. As humans, this is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But just look at a couple of things that they show us in our faces, and it's us that's not standing up against it, right? Modern day slavery. You work when they tell you to work. You go home, they tell you to go home, and no matter how hard you try to fight, they make you pay more. And they know psychologically, being under pressure, not being able to pay your bills, not being able to eat. They know all these things are factors in how they make people act. And not for nothing, psychologically, most of the serial killers and murderers, how do they normally say they start off being that way? What's the sign? Killing animals.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they say that?
Mm-hmm.
When they're young and they get birds and all this, they're killing animals. So when we kill animals, even though we eating it, psychologically, they already told us what things like that do.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're dressed up in a culture and a society to where if we look around, they train us, like Rico just got to the thing. They train us to do that, and we accept it. You know, the devil's trick is to get us to do it voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember about 50 years ago when they was on TV talking about these video games and how controversial they'll be if we release it. And no, for the love of money, that's what we want. But we know that we face issues like supremacy. Not for nothing. Let me tell you how my parents got me in line when they didn't want me to do something violent, or beaten.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So history shows that violence, beating is effective. How do parents tell us they're gonna take us up out of here because they are parents if we don't do what they tell us to do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm your parent. I'll take you up out of here. And that parent can even be violent or disrespectful towards you and may have been that way their whole life, but then feel like because you don't do what you don't do what they told you to do, even if it may or may not be to the best interest, because some people are crazy. I brought you as well. I take you out.
Exactly, and that's the mindset. That's the mindset. It really is. Go ahead.
It's a setting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a setting. Being from Brooklyn, right? Being a girl, very rough there. There are things that causes it to be rough there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be taught how to be tough. Okay, but it's tricky because when you're in that world, you know how hard it is. That's the culture. That's like the military person going to the military and coming back. It's hard to get what they went through out of them. It's hard to get an officer to be like stand down when they go home. No, an officer is always trained to be on guard. No matter what, an officer be at the crib laying down sleep. Something happened wrong. He gonna wake up or he gonna be on point. Why? Because there was a training for this to be that. There's a setting that they put us on to live in this type of world. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this way of life is something that we've all accepted. Now, when I started dealing with the Lord, he started working on me, trying to soften me up, and I'm still working with him on that. But I understand now there's a setting because there's no need for me to feel like I need to steal, kill, and destroy if I know I'm loved and protected by the Most High. So now I can be easy. So now I don't have to be angry. But I tell you what, it's still in there. So I'm ready on go. But I don't walk around feeling like how we're describing right now, because that was a setting in a culture being from Brooklyn, you know, and it's a choice to try to soften it up, and you don't have to be, but it's a setting that they train us for. You know, they train girls to, don't be dealing with boys because they're going to get you pregnant, and they train boys to, their job is to take care of the girl. It's a setting, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is a society, and I can't let us just make it seem like it's only us. Because it's not. This is a global thing. They do it everywhere globally. And we need to address how humanity deals with violence to get what they want done.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Man, I'm pretty much agreeing with a lot of what is being said. You know, you're preaching to the choir because, you know, I had proposed many years ago to people as it relates to how they raise their children and the discipline that they use with their children. In this commitment to this cult of violence to get things done, to get things accomplished. It's because it's easy for the simple man to choose violence. It's easy to do that. When you're outnumbered, what do? You stock up, man. Like, say, for instance, and yeah, there's a lot of fear in this world, but people who live in fear don't subscribe to Guns and Ammo magazine because that's their thing. That's what they like, as Rico pointed out. Some people are just interested. One, I can break weapons down, clean them, put them back together. I've shot black powder. I've shot competitively as well as just for fun. You know, I grew up with guns. So I have a different point of view as it relates to guns. You know, so we have to understand that we have to strive for a better society. And this has always been what the decent people fight for. And like, say, for instance, I'm going to pick on you, for instance. I'm a veteran myself. And when you talk about your Miss Mary, yeah, my baby girl doing what? Fighting for my country, not going to make peace for your country.
Yeah,
fighting
exactly.
for your country. I'm not going to fight one person for feeling like they need a weapon when I know good and well they got people on borders with weapons, people with ships, with jets, with nuclear power weapons on them, and everybody else trying to defend themselves. But for some reason, you don't want me to defend myself. That means you're the one trying to take advantage of me. That's why you don't want me to have a gun, because this is why slavery works. It's because there is no response without violence.
Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. I see it like that. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
And now these crazy rabbits got guns. Everybody got access to guns.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you wonder why everybody doing what they doing. It's not because of the gun. It's because this is how you get even.
Yeah. Wow. Bishop, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Bishop, I need to ask a question, man. Are we just, and I can't say nation because Toya, she corrected me on that. Are we as human, are we just violent? Are we just violent people?
That's an interesting question. I guess I can say yeah. Yeah, we're violent people. We fight to have, to take, and we fight to live. So yeah, there is that level of violence that's in our DNA, as some would say, that causes us to act the way we act and do some of the stupid things we do. Yeah.
Wow.
You want me to elaborate any more? You want to go into more?
Go ahead. Go into it, brother. Go into it.
You know, the funny thing about it, it's not always about having a physical weapon to destroy somebody. What about the tongue? You know, that's a weapon of destruction itself.
Yes, it is.
And you say, I've never shot anybody. I said, but you talk about somebody. You scandalize their name. That means you killed them. And so therefore, yeah, your heart is evil, you're evil. And that's where the problem lies. So, yeah.
That's good.
Good morning, good Bishop.
Good morning, my friend. Glad to hear your voice.
Good to hear you as well.
I've been calling for days, but for some reason, I couldn't get through.
Oh Lord!
Somebody called themselves going to school. Don't know how to work a phone line. We're gonna have to talk to this.
So somebody trying to go to school and be all smart and stuff.
Lord, see how they do you. Hey, Badger, you see how people treat you, right? Hey, Public Citizen said a few things. Rico, can I get you to can you see this, Rico? You read it?
That's funny.
Nah, I can't see it, man. It's on my phone. It's too small.
Okay.
US city people have our heads on a swivel. Lots of crazy people out there. I agree with Toya on that. We need to constantly evolve.
Exactly. And one more, Leonard.
The supremacist mindset is based on accepting and promoting violence. This goes for black supremacists, white supremacists, whatever. It's all bad. And I agree with most of the time a lot of the things with what Public Citizen says, because you can tell that there's a desire in his heart for a better society.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not that one person has all the answers to the question or we need some type of justification. My first justification is would I want it done to me? That's my first thing I go to. Would I want whatever it is I want to do to someone else? Would I want them to do that to me?
And if your answer is no, leave it alone. If your answer is no,
leave it alone.
Exactly.
I understand that everybody does not share that opinion. You know, I'm trying to be a better person. It's like, you know, I would probably make a good bishop if I could get my heart together. You know, because my heart still wants to choke the hell out of you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
My heart still wants to, you know,
Leonard,
get you. You know,
Leonard, I think I need to go away from you right now, brother. Hold on, hold that thought. Yes, sir. Hold that thought, Leonard. Stay right. Go ahead, Badger. Come on in.
So I'm not sure how the word supremacist is being used because, you know, with the research and things and having the heritage I have, you know, extremist or egocentric people that want power, you know, was the primary. I mean, I guess it could be supremacy because they're wanting power and everything. So I guess that could fit.
Yes,
Just
sir.
never
Yes,
seen
sir.
it fit. Never seen anyone use that word outside of like KKK people. So it's interesting
Because they're very clear about it. That's why.
You know, with talking about like the violence and the school shootings and all that stuff, you know, how long has supremacy been around? And it's still to this day. And it's interesting that we're talking about guns, knives, gangs, and all that. But how about the violence of the psychological attacks that we deal with every day? Like,
and see, and that's the thing right there, Badge. I'm glad you said that. That's the thing right there, because violence, there's so many different layers of it. You know, there's a physical violence, but there's other layers of violence as well that a lot of time don't get addressed.
I want to put something out there. Like, you know, most of the people that watch the show, and for anyone that doesn't know anything about me out there, you know, I have Asperger's or Savant or autism spectrum. Words keep changing. And there were states that if you were condemned too retarded, would just literally just put you in an electric chair or hang you because you were, I think the word's detriment to society. So just for being different, they would use violence and just kill you because you're mentally different.
Wow.
So like, it's like I have to make decisions every day, and I have to watch my temper trying to, you know, get help for me and my son because we're on the autism spectrum, because the state we live in don't really do a lot for mental health. And, you know, do I get rude and ugly with them because my patients are wearing thin? Because I've been fighting for 5 years and doing all these, you know, nice, fancy, polite letters and emails and asking for, you know, what can we do to get certain kinds of help? Because therapies to help with some of this stuff are thousands of dollars. There's one therapy that his doctor wants him to be a part of that's about, I think they said it was like $4,000 a month for the amount of hours she would get. So I'm like, wow, that costs more than private tuition for a private school.
Yeah.
Per month.
Exactly. Wow. Toy, with the T, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Rico, coming to you next. Toy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know, that kind of lost me when we kind of, you know, just talk about things, but we're all talking about humanity, you know, and supremacy is something. I posted a definition a few minutes ago.
Yes.
It's something that we said that the white supremacists make it known that they feel like they are superior. And feeling like you're superior, we're going to use it in a different example. Most parents make it seem like they're superior to the child. Again, we don't want to isolate this and make it seem like we're pointing fingers. Oh, just one group. As humans, we do have this opportunity where we think we are supreme. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem we're talking about here is when we become violent with it because they're so supreme. You're so supreme, you feel the need to go be able to do something violent to someone for any reason, like Badger said. So you're so supreme because how you're created, someone else comes created a level down than you, supposedly, and you want to kill them? Oh, you're so supreme that God only, whatever supremeness you come from, made only you to the point to where you want to kill a person because they're black, because of a color, because their body part, because they're a child. That's a mental issue, right? I mean, we've evolved a long way in humanity because we used to be more humane. I thought that was the thing with the caveman, right? How they get a woman and clunk them in the head and drag them on back to the cave, and boom, that means they're your woman. See, a lot of this stuff, who we get this from? Society. And we're talking about it as if it really matters. But we already know that's not how this goes. We know how humans are as supreme. Parents are supreme to children. Women are supreme to men. Whites are supreme to black. That's a mindset. Again, a setting that we have to make us think something that it's really not. That's really not the case. And all the white people that walk around here act like they're supreme. That's not true. All the black people can walk around here and act like we're supreme. It's not true. So it's a setting and a mindset that we all have. And not only that, we need to break out of it from both aspects. The ones that are, oh yeah, well, they're supreme. You need to break out of that mindset. And know that if we're all equal, that means we're all supreme. So this is a trap that if we continue to let this not only be the huge topic of conversation, but the way of life that leads us as a society, then we're always going to have that issue, because as humans, we are all supreme. But not when it comes to each other. And that's what we got to be careful for. You know what I mean? So again, these conversations, when we think about things, when we think about our past and things of that nature, we knew that was wrong, killing someone because they were a special need. We knew it was wrong killing someone because they were Black or Jew or Chinese. We know that. We've come up that the standard is we only kill if someone's coming to try to what? Steal, kill, destroy.
Exactly.
They come and try to take something, that's when we get violent. But either way it goes, we got some tighten up to do, humans. I'm just saying. A lot of it.
Leonard, you read this for me?
I would argue, this is from Public Citizen. I would argue that the supremacist mindset of an authoritarian parent is what leads to that violence. Mind leads the body. I think I agree with Toya.
Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I think people will probably receive that better, understanding that we also mean superiority complex. You know what I'm saying? We could say supreme, but a lot of times, like what Leonard did earlier with the word primitive and primordial.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They sort of cousins, but one might be more fitting. I think superiority probably is more fitting for what, what we're trying to get across, that superior mindset. I'm better than, and by me being better than, I got the right to decide what's best for you. I'm the one to dictate the narrative. I'm the one to dictate the trends. What I say goes. Hey, let me say this right quick, though. Happy belated birthday to Bishop. I missed you, man. Our birthday was this past Saturday, man. And I know last year you called me and surprised me. I didn't know your birthday was on the same day as mine. But this year I'm getting you, man. Happy belated birthday. Happy belated Earth Day.
There you go.
Thank you, man. Same to you.
Yes, sir.
And, violence begets violence. So if violence begets violence, then somewhere you got to find a way to justify. So I went back. I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Sometimes people have to use violence to bring peace. That's why some wars are supposedly fought to bring democracy or to stop some type of travesty or terrorism. And so, that's sort of, I don't want to call it an oxymoron, but that could put you in a confused space when you are 1 minute you're justified to go kill. You remember what I said about Timothy McVeigh? Timothy McVeigh went over there and made that headshot, and he was proud, even though he was a misfit. Everybody went and started patting him on his back. Hey, you the man. You shot this man from 1,000 yards, and it was a good headshot, and he actually fit in. He was accepted amongst his friends. Then later on that night, he thought about, man, whoever I kill, mama and daddy and family, wife and children probably at home waiting on them. And I just took them off of this earth. On behalf of who? On behalf of what? Oh, man, you mean to tell me after all this research I done did, we ain't got no weapons of mass destruction over here? And on top of it, we over here for resources on behalf of corporations. And on top of it, Bush is over here because he's retaliating because of his daddy. So they got us over here fighting a war. I thought I was fighting on behalf of my country for democracy, to bring peace to Iraq and Saudi Arabia and all these different Kuwait. All this mean regime of Saddam Hussein. I thought we was over here to fight that. But really and truly, I ain't over here to fight that, man. And I don't took this man life violence. But see, they justified it. We justified in war. So, you know, we got to accept the good with the bad. That's really what was true in life. Because if violence begets violence, when you make it acceptable on one end, then you got to deal with the energy that comes with it, because somebody else going to look at it and find a reason to justify murdering and killing and using violence too.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Leonard.
Rico is dead on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's dead on with what he's saying. And until we understand that and come from that point of view, man, I saw a clip of some Muslims embracing the murderers of their children. And how American media wants you to remember, you know, I'm not big on propaganda. I believe that TV is one of the biggest propaganda tools in the world to make it seem like you so right. America has made you seem like you are so right for so long that you don't know the difference no more. You know, you think it's right just because somebody put a little story and a little narrative with the agenda that they had, and then they convinced several of you to engage in that agenda. I was in the military. Man, you got my man Curtis can tell you stories. He's a combat veteran.
Yes.
That's different from my experience completely in the military. This is the difference between me and one of my best friends that were in the military, is that one, he's a combat veteran. Me, my whole thing was, I'm like, I was in the military, but if you want me to kill somebody that ain't done nothing to me, bro, I might as well be in jail. I might as well go to jail. Because I really came for the travel and the benefit or whatever, but not killing innocent people, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at it from different ways, and that there's a lot more there esoterically and philosophically as it relates to violence begetting violence. This is not new. And we have to quit looking at violence like it's new. Quit trying to say that, you know, this group is more violent than, or like this group is more violent, like Toya mentioned.
Exactly.
Man, come on. It's how we're raised, man. You can't tell a person that it's okay to kill these people because they got on a different color.
Yeah.
Than it is to these people. Because sooner or later, them people gonna get tired of you killing them. They're gonna have to kill back.
Yep. To stop the killing on them.
Choosing this way that we have chosen as believers is supposed to be curbing this natural desire of violence. This is why my Muslim brothers can't accept Christianity this way. It's because they believe that it's about not responding or not doing something to those people perpetrating something against you. And I'm talking to my black Muslims specifically. Your religion can't be based on hatred for the white man. That just can't be it. Islam is not that. That is not what Islam is. Islam is really about seeking peace. Even in those situations, you choosing to be the bigger person and start first. You embrace first to break that chain. This is the philosophy behind a lot of that when it comes to violence. Someone has to break the chain. And this is not easy. It's just not. Some of us have had friends who have been killed in the street, and first thing you want to do is strap up and go find them. It's not to pray for them. It's not to embrace them. It's not to let them know, man, I'm so sorry it came to this, or make peace with them. It's to get revenge. And this is what we should really be focusing on with raising our children. How often are we using violence to discipline them? How often are we justifying it to them to use violence to get what they want? Because soon as you let that child into the world on his own, guess what? That whole game is elevated.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And what's the name said? Public Citizen said this right here. If violence is the answer to, if religion is the answer to this violence problem, why are the prisons filled with believers?
Well, most people find Christ or change their lives in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, most people believe that they're justified. I came in and you were sleeping with my wife, so I killed you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Because of one action and one emotion at that time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Bishop, what do you say to that?
Well, it's been said, it's been as stated, a mouthful. And it's the truth of the reality of what we really have to face and what we should be paying attention to. I can compliment everyone's opinions and their comments, and of course that is their opinions. But the opinions sound real good to my ears right now. Mm-hmm. And it gives me something to really go say, that's something to think about.
Exactly.
That's something I need to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just pleased to be a part of the dialogue as it relates to the behaviors of people in general.
Exactly.
So, that's my comment, man. I'm just sitting here listening and enjoying everything I'm hearing. Toya, Rico, Leonard, and I'm glad to hear Badger too.
Yes, sir.
And so I appreciate what you got going on, man. I just want to say that.
Hey, appreciate you. Badger, what's on your heart? Toya, what the tea coming to you next?
I was just listening because, like, I guess I was kind of fortunate because I was surrounded by people that talked about violence and, this and that, and public citizen, that's one thing that I've attempted to make comments about and stuff like that, because isn't what certain supremacy groups all around the world, aren't they normally religious?
They claim to be. I could claim to be. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I could claim to be a football player because I put on a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. But I never make it to the field. I never make it to the field to play one down.
So words.
Mm-hmm.
We've this is, I swear to this comment's probably been like a part of the podcast ever since probably before I was involved, are so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Because if you look at religion or a religious ideal, a person could look at history and see all these beliefs and things like that and what people consider themselves religious. And it's surrounded with negativity. How many of those so-called religious people are I'm going to use the word spiritual.
Okay.
For me, that word means that they are empathetic to other human beings, to the planet, things of that kind of nature, the teachings of, the Ten Commandments and things of which are pretty much across the board in every belief system I've come across, is they've got something of that caliber. The golden rule, don't treat someone how you don't want to be treated.
Exactly.
And there's times where, if you ask these people in these groups, if they want to be hated as much as, the people that they hate or things that they hate. There's hate groups for just about everything nowadays. From guns, to gay people, the trans, the sports, the Christians, the blacks, the Chinese, pretty much across the board. And Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
And I've always found it fascinating that people prefer to do something so easy as to hate and not. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's hard to forgive people. It's hard to, look at things in a positive light all the time. It can be hard.
Oh yeah. But see, it's so much easier for whatever reason for a person to say I hate you and I have to deal with you than to deal with something that you're going through or the talk or to make it through a situation. Toya, what does he talk to me? Why is it so difficult?
Okay. It's difficult because of kind of like how we're making it now, because we still want to put an excuse or something other than holding ourselves accountable. First and foremost, did I hear the comment say, why are believers behind bars? The majority of believers, what does that mean? Do you mean that they're going to take Christian people and lock them up for being Christian and they're not fighting back? Or are you trying to say that these humans that are Christians or religious people, these humans that are religious people, are the ones doing things to go to jail? Because if that's the case, then that's a stereotype. And that was not nice. But let's look at it like this. All humans are part of something somewhere. Whether you're a non-believer for whatever reason, don't mean your mom and your daddy are non-believer, and you can't get blamed for what your mom and daddy do, and your mom and daddy can't look at you for them, and vice versa. So that's not nice to say like believers are the most people that's locked up. And if we look statistically, it's really only 50% of people who believe in a faith are getting locked up. But let's look at the fact of the other humans. Let's take black people who are mostly Christian. Those believers were locked up because they were black, and they locked them up for little stupid stuff. It does. So when we look at the prison system, we got to be honest about the things that are unfairly ruled as jail time before we really talk about numbers, because they're inflating the numbers because they want you to look at these certain people a certain way. They want to take that faith of that religion. So let's look to all sides of the spectrum, right? Don't look at the little girl after she done stabbed a man until you find out that he tried to have sex with her forcefully. Then it's like, why I gotta be, humans just don't act like that. And if you don't know a fellow human that act like that, we cannot listen to TV and propaganda and think that it's a one-sided story, man. That's not right, and that's not fair. Because you know what? I helped make one of those statistics true because I wasn't going to let that man hit me and walk away. Period. I don't come with violence first. I'm a very big talker. But what another human ain't going to do no more ever again after I got raised is think you're going to put your hands on me and I'm going to be away because I'm going to be another statistic. So let's be honest about what humans do. And if you're a human that don't react in a violent way because somebody is reacting violently against you, doesn't mean that you can't find yourself a statistic in jail. So, that's what's cool. But this misunderstanding is why we can't sympathize and empathize with other people and move forward. Because we're always looking at people through this content as if something happened to them, but you don't know the real story. And sometimes you ain't walked in them shoes. And sometimes it's just not like that. It's because people are just jacked up. And we don't do things right. And we make choices and decisions off of assumptions instead of the facts or the law. And we get it twisted because we have a mentality that wound up again don't even be true. They could have been raised like that. White supremacists, most of them, they had problems with black people. They were raised to be like that. And until they get to know a black person, then you'll see a lot of them, oh, wow, I've been lied to my whole life. Black people not that bad. But that's why we got to keep going and break the mold. We can't keep being quiet and not talking.
All right, preacher, we got to get out of here, preacher. It's 10:11.
Yeah, my bad.
Hey, Leonard, read that for me.
Started at 7:11.
Uh-oh. Lord, my Jesus. Leonard, read that for me. Leonard, you there?
I was on mute, my fault. It's not a knock against religious people. It's a criticism of the idea that calling yourself religious doesn't make you good. Same way Raheem won't make it to the field.
Now, why can't I play football if I want to play football? Now, why you gonna throw me up under the bus like that? Hey, Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Toussaint, you there? Bishop, give me some final thoughts.
And that's it.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to catch it in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Captain Leonard, can I get you the prayers out, sir?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for giving us an opportunity to share our opinions as believers in Christ on these various matters. We pray that we have touched someone's heart this morning to change for the better, and to share that change with others. These and other blessings I ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Man, amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:12. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. 1, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light of you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in. Let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed.